Hey friends, Kim from stampingandperfection.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm sharing a card sketch challenge. This is from the Papercraft crew. They have a weekly challenge, and this is a nice, clean, and simple sketch. It's got two squares that are kind of turned 45 degrees to each other. There are a couple of strips of paper and then a little floral image and some embellishments at the top. It's very quick and simple. So I thought I would start out using the color block stamping technique that I shared in my video yesterday, and at first I used Twisted Citron Distress ink and it didn't turn out very well. It sort of separated when it dried and I didn't like the way it turned out. So I decided to use Garden Party from Catherine Pooler. So I did ink up my clear block, stamped it off, and then spritzed it, but I didn't feel like that was enough ink. I want this to be a little brighter, so I'm not going to stamp it off the second time. I'm just going to stamp over top of what I did, and then I'm going to let this dry. Now, while this dries, let me share with you the other stuff that I'm using. I'm doing a color challenge at MFT Stamps, and the color challenge uses natural, which is like craft cardstock. It uses sour apple, orange zest, and a tangy orange, which is like a red orange. So I'm using some foil detail today, and I'm using the stamp set from the Rabbit Hole Designs that's called Pretty and Peony. I've already done that image, and I used some Copic markers. I used the MFT Stamps Extreme Black for hybrid, it's a hybrid ink pad. For Copic markers, for alcohol markers, and I used the colors E09, R08, R05, R02, and W5 to color that in. And then I cut it out with my brother's Scan and Cut. Now the foil is super easy to use. This is Gina K Fancy Foils. It's a ThermoWeb product, and I got this in a card kit a couple of years ago, and I've never used it. I've been avoiding the whole foiling thing, but it's so simple to do. So I decided that I'm just going to put a piece of double-sided tape down, and this is like 1/4 of an inch wide, and I'm just cutting off a piece of the orange because the orange zest and the sour apple were colors that are in the color challenge. So I'm just going to remove the paper backing here from the second side of that tape, and I'm just going to put down that piece of ThermoWeb foil, and the silver side goes down, the color that you want goes up, and I'm going to run this through my laminator, which I've had heating since I started the video. And in order to run it through my laminator, I just need to put it in a carrier sheet. So that's just a piece of copy paper, and I'm putting it in there, and then the folded side goes down into the laminator. I have an inexpensive 3M Scotch laminator that I use, and I've had it for years, and I use it all the time for different things. I use it a lot for school projects and for craft projects. So I've got that done. I just peeled off the remainder of the foil. I die cut this craft cardstock out of my favorite things. These are stitched rectangle dies, and I love that they have rounded corners, and I love that stitch detail. And I also die cut 2 of those like stems of leaves there from the leaf canopy die from Altenew, and I decided to go with the darker one even though the challenge really calls for the lighter one. I just really felt like it needed that darker color, so I'm just going to pop the top part up on a foam dot and the rest will be flat, and then I'm going to put a bunch of foam dots on the back of that floral piece that I created, and I'll pop that up on top of all the rest of that. And then basically I just need a sentiment and some embellishments. So I'm just going to place that down there, and I really like this. This is an interesting color combination. I have no idea whether that flower meets the tangy red, or what was it, tangy orange color, but I like the way it turned out. So for my sentiment, I'm going to heat emboss on black the little Just a Note sentiment from that stamp set, and that again, that's from the Rabbit Hole Designs. This is a super tiny typeface here, or font on this, and pardon my head, and it's really a fine detail. So I'm going to ink this up with my Versamark, and I'm going to use my Altenew Crisp white embossing powder because that tends to do well with my really tiny little fonts there. So I finished it. For some reason my camera shut down, but I finished that off with, I just stuck the embossed sentiment in, and I added some Neat and Tangled sequins, which this is the second package of these sequins I've had. This is their festive fall sequins mix, and it had all the colors in this color challenge, so it was kind of perfect. And I used six of those, and just put it around the page. Now I'm trimming the card front that I created down to 4 by 5 1/4 because I want to put it on a craft card base. And you'll also notice I added some black splatter to the card front. I just felt like it needed, I feel like splatter always finishes off a card front. So I just put a little bit of black splatter on there with my, I just squished the black ink on to the craft mat, and I added some water and used a round paintbrush. Now I'm just using the double-sided adhesive tape again to attach this to my card front or to my card base, and that will actually complete this card. So it's nice. It's like fun to do a card challenge or a sketch challenge or even a theme challenge or a color challenge, because I would not have put these colors together, and I'm not sure I love these colors, but I really like the way the card turned out. And you get to choose your own details and make it your own. So I've got a few things there that I feel like really make it my own. So please give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel while you're here and click that bell so you get notifications every time I upload a new video. And make sure you stop by my blog at stampingimperfection.com and sign up for my newsletter to get card and project tutorials in your inbox a couple of times a month. And also make sure you check out the Papercraft Crew at papercraftcrew.com. Thanks for watching.